What's up, college basketball fans? It's football season. It needs to be football season. Round year football season. I can get on board with that. I'm sure many of you can. It's college basketball, though. Bourbon, beer, and basketball. Another episode for you. We're down a few people tonight. Gonna go with the old power play defense here, but we're gonna get through this and make it happen. So without any further ado, at 5'7" from Boise, Idaho, my friend and co-host of Bronco Nation Live, Mr. Nick Wade. Nick, how are you doing tonight?
I'm here for the defense. I'm gonna be making steals like one of my favorite point guards. But glad to be here, man.
All right. And at 6'2", gonna dominate the paint for us tonight from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, founder of the Sunbelt Syndicate, Mr. Dominic Cressetto. Dom, what's going on here?
I don't know about dominating the paint at 6'2". I'll probably get demolished in the paint at 6'2", but I would try my hardest. How about that? You'll get my best effort.
You didn't go to my high school. I was 6 foot, and I was our third tallest, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We were short. Yeah. Good stuff. Anyway, fellas, it's just the three of us to start the show. Mr. Jonathan Yates, he may be in at the after the break in the second half. We'll just have to wait and see if he gets done. Y'all, if you're thoughts and prayers kind of people, give them out to Mr. Casey Wick. He is sick tonight, and so we don't have him on tonight. But we will we'll power through and make it happen. And then Josh, he had some other family things going on tonight. So it's just the three of us to start out. What are you guys thinking of the college basketball season? Actually, you know what? Rewind. Brand shout-outs. Dominic, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, yeah. That's a good call. We're gonna pop these suckers open. So this is a local brewery known as here, we're gonna see that Gizmo.
Nice.
I'll get this right at some point. Called the Beekeeper. It's a honey wheat ale. So let's see if we get a good pop on this one. This is this one's not far from where I work. It's technically located in Raleigh, North Carolina, but it's not far from Durham. So Raleigh, Durham, is kind of known as that, two areas in one. This is really right in between them, right outside of what RTP is, which is a lot of businesses. So Beekeeper, let's see what this is like. Okay, this is great. It's a light beer. Let's see what it says. 5.5 ABV. So yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones that it'd be like a good day drinker. So Beekeeper from Gizmo Brewing.
Nice. We have our first comment coming in from Mr. Benjamin James. WSP and Wolves Up.
I think he uses WSP as What's Up, his version of What's Up.
Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Currently watching A-State women's basketball dominate Lady Bobcats of Texas State. Glad you're on the show tonight. Give us your takes. What are you drinking tonight, if anything? And give us your hot takes on the current state of college basketball.
Yeah. When he refers to A-State, for those out there, that is Arkansas State. That's his team there. So he's very proud of their women's program as well.
And Regina Weyerman, hello. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you on.
Hey.
All right, All right, Nick, what's your brew of choice tonight?
Well,
hold on. I have a TikTok comment right now from Bendick Solheim. Says, hi, bro. Hi, Bendick. Welcome to the show. All right, now, Nick.
Again, I'm your resident based guy over here. I'm just sipping on a cup of Joe, from still cruising through that box of K-Cups. But shout out to the viewer shouting out the women's basketball team. I do a lot. I follow a lot of the women's sports for my school. So shout out to him, man. Good props.
Yeah. And of course, our women's are tied with Air Force right now at 6. So Boise State and Air Force playing. I'll put it up at 6. It's basketball, so we can talk about it, right?
Yep. Hey, it doesn't say men's or women's. You got a
Right.
good point.
Yep. We all know that it's a men's dominated, not necessarily because they're so much better or more deserving, but that's what sells. So if you want to start talking about women's basketball, you better blow this podcast up so that we can do it. We need the viewers to do it. So I'm recycling from last week, mainly because there's not a whole lot to choose from where I'm at. So I'm going back with the patron saint of brewers, the St. Arnold Art Car IPA. It's a good one. It's a very hoppy American IPA. It's a 7.1. So,
okay. You're stepping it up a little bit.
So it's nice. I like it.
It's drinking enough ABV for you and Nick.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this is going down good. So I would recommend the Beekeeper to anybody who's like a light beer fan, just want to drink literally for flavor. This one's a good one.
You need to head on over there and try and get him a title sponsor. Speaking of title sponsor, if you are a brewery or a distillery and want to be a title sponsor for Bourbon, Beer, and Basketball, shoot me an email, samtalksports@icloud.com, and let's make it happen. Back to Benjamin. He says this past Saturday game with A-State, Arkansas State, and South Alabama, snug for me when having an 18-point game and blowing the lead and allowing the Jags to force OT and win. Nick and I know all about that. When Boise State gave up a 23-point lead and a 17-point lead to UNLV to lose in overtime for the second time this year, losing in overtime to UNLV. So
this was that one that he's referencing. I did not see live. I went back and watched the ending. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm not quite sure how y'all's ended up, but with this one, it was like a 6-point lead or 7 point. I think it was 7-point lead with like 20 some seconds left. Looked like game over. There's no way you could win. They get like a quick 2. They foul. They miss. They come down. So I guess they got a quick 3. So it's a 4-point game. They foul. They miss the first one. They get the rebound. They come down. The guy is literally like, it's Chaz Harris, who's the best player on South Alabama's team. He's kind of like running and shooting the 3 all at the same time, right at the 3-point line. They also call the foul. So he hits the 3, nails the 4th at the free throw line. Now there's 1.7 seconds left or something like that. They throw the inbound pass, don't get a shot off, and then South Alabama goes on to play the better overtime and win on the road at Arkansas State, with Arkansas State and South Alabama both having the ability to kind of jump up in the standing. So it was a big turning point in Sun Belt basketball.
Wow.
Sam, didn't in that UNLV game, didn't Gibbs Lawhorn score like 17 points in a minute 10 by himself?
It was he could not miss in the second half. Yeah, like everything he was throwing up was going in. Like hand in the face, defenders all over him, just throw it up 10 feet behind the arc. Slight exaggeration, and just nothing but net, just draining it. It was ridiculous. It's almost like you want to double team them just so that somebody else has to score, but I don't even think that would have worked. It's crazy. When they played in UNLV, Gibbs Longhorn had his career night with 33 points or something like that, and then playing at Boise State, he beat that career high. So it's just one of those players always has a team's number, and he had Boise State's number, and it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Man.
So, well, the fall of number 1. Arizona's currently in a tailspin right now. They've lost to Kansas and Texas Tech, but we kind of foresaw that Arizona wasn't going to go undefeated. And we were going to see what kind of team they were after the Kansas loss, if they were going to be able to bounce back. And unfortunately, it does not look like they bounced back well, losing to Texas Tech. Is this good tournament prep for them, having this brutal of a schedule later in the season to say, all right, we are good. We've slipped up a few times. Let's get it back on track. Maybe suffer these losses before you get into tournament time. Good losses, bad losses. What do you guys think?
I would say, I mean, they're good losses, right? Neither of these teams were unranked that they lost to, and neither of these games were out of hand, right? Like they could have made a few more plays and won both of these. I will say yes, it's good to lose before the tournament, before the conference tournament, even to go ahead and have those things to work on. I don't know if I want to be worried about the constant thought process and pressure of having to stay undefeated. Yeah, it'd be great to put that on a shirt and clamor all about it, but it means nothing if you go undefeated in the regular season, somehow get bounced before the championship game of your conference tournament and end up being a 2 seed. I don't, with Arizona's schedule, I'm not sure they'd end up being a 2 seed type of thing, but all that matters in the end, as we know, is championships and rings. So you can lose 5. If you end up with that championship, no one's going to remember you lost 5. They're going to remember you won the championship. So,
right. Unless you're Ohio State in football and you lose to Michigan and then win the national championship, then everyone's going to remind you didn't beat Michigan.
True.
Sorry, Todd, if you're watching.
Hey, clip this part. Clip this.
Nick, what do you think? Is it bad for morale standpoint going into a losing streak? You lose one more, you're officially in a streak with such a tough schedule, especially right here at the end of the year. You're basically playing your March Madness starts now. They don't have an easy opponent the rest of the way forward.
Yeah. If you look at it, the way that I kind of measure things, they lost at home. So, I mean, it matters for them if they want a regular season championship. I think, I don't know. I'm measuring them on that fact alone. I'm taking them down a notch. Houston also lost, but they lost away to Iowa State on the road, which, if you're a great team and you're vying for a conference championship, you win your home games. So that doesn't really put a ding on Houston. I think their loss is great timing because it's a good chance for them to reset. There's like 6 games left in the regular season. They can go back on a nice run. But I also don't think it's detrimental to Arizona. I think what these teams right now are fighting for is a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I believe probably whoever wins the regular season championship and the Big 12 probably has a good chance of getting a number 1 seed, especially if it's Houston. Houston usually always locks down that number 1. Yeah. So for Houston, it's more of a better time for them to lose. But for Arizona, losing twice in a row and once at home, they've got they got to clear some things up. And if they want to be a championship team and if they want that hardware, that regular season hardware, then it's time to knuckle up and take care of business here on out. Otherwise, I think they're going to be in the tournament either way.
Yeah. I don't think even if they lose every game and get bounced first round of the tournament of their conference tournament, I don't think they're going to be left out. They may go from a 1 seed to a 10 seed, but they're not going to get left out.
Yeah, and I think they'll even still be a high seed because, I mean, like what you just said, let's look at the last point of their schedule. Only 2 teams are unranked, and all the other teams that are ranked that they play. Oh, sorry, BYU's towards the bottom. They're the 23rd. Oh,
yeah,
we know how good BYU is, but they play number 2 Houston, number 8 Kansas, number 6 Iowa State. So I mean, they have a gauntlet, like you said. They could lose those games. They're still going to get a lot of respect for that.
Yeah. Yep. So the fall of a number 1 means there's a new number 1. Michigan back on top. In fact, I think we all saw the bracketologist coming out, putting Michigan and App State, creating the most hilarious matchup if App State wins. Uh, I don't think Michigan would ever schedule another game for the rest of their life in any sport against App State if that happened. But can anyone besides App State slow down Michigan? They are super hot right now. It doesn't. They haven't lost since their loss against Wisconsin. Only loss on the year. Is there anyone hotter than Michigan right now?
Hotter than them? I'll say I'll throw out Iowa State being pretty good. I mean, their win streak isn't as big. It's only 2, but I mean, this is a team that Nick just talked about. I mean, they're 15-0 at home. I just had it up. They're 4-0 against AP top 25. If you expand that to the USA Today poll, they're 5-1 this season. So, I mean, just another formidable opponent who's up at the top. And again, number 6, just outside there. That seems like a team that might be coming on strong at the right time. But Michigan has been doing it throughout the entirety of the season. You know, Iowa State may just be getting closer now. So, yeah, I don't know. Michigan probably does take the cake.
Is the Big Ten's best chance for another title since Michigan State did it? Is it Michigan? It's still in the state of Michigan, Nick?
I would say so. I mean, Michigan's getting jiggy with it, man. 11 in a row. I think that's probably the recipe, is to kind of stack some wins, get a loss. If you got a good team like Michigan, go on another run. I would say if they can keep that momentum going, they're going to be hard to beat in their own conference and in the tournament. And looks like they've got the foundation to do it, man.
Yeah, I think Michigan's going to be the team to beat heading into tournament time. They're going to be the team to beat heading into the Big Ten championship. They got everything going for them right now, where everybody else seems to be kind of falling away a little bit. You have Iowa just upset Nebraska. They finally get their signature win on the year. So, I mean, I don't really see anybody that's going to give Michigan another run, and I don't think they're going to be caught with their pants down like they were against Wisconsin earlier in the year. I don't think that's going to happen again. That's kind of one of those wake-up calls like, oh, yeah, you were undefeated. Look what happens whenever you bought into your own hype, and now they're not buying into their own hype. So I think that Wisconsin loss was probably the best – I don't know if I want to say that on there. The Wisconsin loss was probably the best thing to happen to Michigan. So, Pop, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say it, guys. I'm sorry. And before you say don't go political, I'm not. It's a movie. He says Melania Trump is hotter than Michigan. So, there you go.
So then if that's what he's talking about, then Michigan's pretty hot, if that's his point of view.
Sorry, guys. I got to figure out.
Oh, Sam muted.
Oh, you got to love. Yep. Sometimes he gets in some battles with his AI camera, and more times than not, it kicks his ass, man.
Yeah. Well,
you literally can see Sam going down to the kennel.
Oh man. But yeah, I'll say this on the Michigan portion of it, right? Away from basketball, they had a completely diabolical ending to football season, right? With everything that happened with the coach, the staff, all the craziness. They want this team to take all the attention. So Michigan people want them to do everything good and have everybody talking about Michigan basketball only. Because if they're winning, that's all they'll care about. That's all they'll try and put their time and effort into. So that's what the Wolverine fans will be wanting, and maybe this basketball team will get them just that.
Yeah,
That's a great point, Dom. And you know what? They probably owe you some royalty on that idea, because their PR guys need to just take this and start running with it, because they need it. But yeah, that would really overshine everything. It probably it put it out of sight, out of mind until kickoff next year. Then they'll be talking about it again. But
very true.
Can you guys hear me again?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know what's going on. If you lose me completely, I'll try to get back in. So, I don't know what's going on with my computer, but yeah, I looked up and my battery bar's all on red and plug your stuff in. I'm like, it is plugged in. What's going on? And then my mic shuts off, and you guys saw it happen to my camera. So, but we're back now.
Everything just got sad at the same time.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with this. I liked your guys' commentary as I was listening and freaking out over my computer. My computer's like, you have that ice cold beer right there, and I'm over here working overdrive. Pour me some.
Yeah, cool me down a little bit.
Yeah. If you guys are watching on TikTok, we are live on YouTube. If you want to be part of the show over there, Bronco Nation Updates on YouTube. I'll try to get to your comments over here on TikTok. Share us out to all your friends and family, and enjoy the show. And so what are we doing with these head coaches? You got Kansas State fires their head coach, Jerome Tang, for cause. Granted, he wasn't doing great at Kansas State, but to fire him in the middle of the season, what's up with that? I mean, would you guys have waited till at least the end of the season, or just get cut bait or cut line or net? Cut the net and move on to the next one.
Nick, you want this one first?
I reckon that the folks over at Kansas State like a good old fashioned dumpster fire, and they couldn't wait just to throw the match in there. I don't know. I don't, if it were, and I have no credibility whatsoever, but if I was running the place, I didn't see anything worthy of cause there, other than, a record. But if they fire him because of that, that's not cause. So I think what this is them trying to say,
because of his words at the press conference.
Right. And I think that this is a cheap way of trying to save some money. But it's just another way to douse some kerosene on that dumpster. And man, I love a good old fashioned dumpster fire. Woo! Yeah.
Get those hands warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard him talking about it on XM radio, and there's going to be a lot of problems for K-State in this one, I think, because like you said, Nick, it's tough to prove the for cause clause in a contract. Now they're claiming it's disparaging the university and talking badly about your place of employment, essentially, is the angle that they're going to go after for this. He's already got a legal team that said they've made a big mistake here. So the lawyer's already looking at it saying, we already know we can win this case, and you're going to owe us a lot of the contract money they may take a little less than what the full contract is, but they're still going to be paying out a lot of money to a now former head coach because he was trying to be hard on his players. And, there's some people who say you can't bring that type of thing to a press conference, but there were a lot of coaches coming to his defense afterward saying this is about the only place he wants to do it, because he's kind of talking about everything in total. It's a mention of the players, but he's really talking about all of it, right? And so some people didn't like it, but I think Nick's right too. They're trying to douse this fire that's not going to go out anyways. The record is bad. You want to cut bait now. The other thing I don't understand, and the same thing with football, you're not hiring a coach tomorrow, right? Like you don't have somebody at the ready for this. So I'm not sure why the move was made now Why don't you start the search in the background now, knowing you're going to try and make that move? And then, you get a better hire probably because of it. But I don't know.
Yeah. And a coach that could be on his way out the door over at UCLA, Mick Cronin, tossed his own player in a blowout loss to Michigan State after he chased him down from behind. I think live it looked a lot worse than what it was, and that was the reaction of the coach. I think if he would have taken the time to watch the replay, he would have seen that it was a basketball move and not malicious. What do you guys think? Warranted, or is it a coach that's on his way out the door given UCLA's current record?
I guess I'll start on this one. So I have experience with a very similar situation. Now, it came on the soccer field, not the basketball court. I talked back to an official after he made a call I didn't agree with, and then I got a yellow card because of the dissent toward the official. My coach pulled me and told me right then and there, you're not going back in this game. And it sets a precedent for the rest of the team in one regard, and it also makes a lot of sense in the other. And I looked at it afterward from an official standpoint. Who has the target on their back for the rest of the game for anything you do? You do, because you've made it obvious that you have it out for an official, or you have lack of respect for the game that's going on. I don't think the foul was so bad. Like you said, Sam, I really don't think it was bad. But he stares him down and he does, the disrespectful type of thing. And I think the coach knew at that point, these officials are going to be on you and looking to make every single call they can because they may have missed that one or not taken care of that one as much as they should have. So essentially, to remove him because he's going to be a target, I understand that aspect. I do also agree, though, that it wasn't as egregious at all as it looked like. But that's my take with a little bit of experience with something a little similar.
Yeah, and it was a flagrant one whenever they did administer the foul. So was that for the stare down at the end or for the foul itself? I don't know. So
that's where we want officials to talk after the game. Don't always even have to make them available for questions necessarily, but provide statements on what they did and why. Maybe allow them to review the camera footage too, and then they can explain, but just give us some insight about why things were done.
Right, just the controversial calls or big calls. And I like that because then you're not, okay, well, we're going to give them the weekend or the week or however long to get their story straight, and then we'll put out in a report. Let's see what they're thinking in the moment so that we know how to better coach the players so they don't do it again.
Yeah.
So I like it. What do you got, Nick?
Yeah, my angle on this right here is I think what folks are not seeing or experiencing yet is we're in an intersection here, right? Where it's going from the student athlete, now they're actually semi-pro, right? So, my angle on things when I'm covering athletes is, and I choose to do this, and I don't disparage them. I try to be as respectful as I can, but I am also realistic on, struggles and challenges and also, when they're doing great, that's okay. But it's all right also for people who have the other side of the coin and want to call out and do, especially now in the age of college sports where they are semi-pros, right? So it's going to happen. But I think what we're missing here is, I come from the trailer fabulous life of the school of hard knocks, and I want to talk about the post-game presser with Coach Cronin. That right there, for me, was entertaining, man. It just, it's right there, the full scale of frustration. It didn't really get out of hand, but I thought it was really, it was absurdly entertaining. Just the way he did it. And I don't necessarily think that he should be on his way out, because without this, we're not talking about UCLA basketball, are we? Right. We're not. And their record, yeah, they're down in their league, but and maybe it's not up to the UCLA standard. They are 17-9 and 9-6 in league, but just like the football team, they got to find a way to entertain. If they're not going to meet their expectations or their standards, at least give me something to chew on. And they're definitely doing that. And like I said, I like a good dumpster fire, and that, Coach Cronin gave me something to lick my chops with, man. I like it.
It's been a dumpster fire week for Nick.
Love it. Just wait till I get into my leagues, man. I got lots of stuff in the Big East, man.
What about Doug Gottlieb's tyrant at the I don't know, table he was sitting at after the Milwaukee game
for Green Bay, Milwaukee? Yeah. The officiating in that game, I read some horror stories. I didn't watch that game. Read some horror stories. He did get suspended for a game, a big game, and I'll talk about it whenever we get down to the MAC. Or that's not MAC. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Horizon.
Yeah, I think you're right. Horizon.
It's the Horizon. So we'll talk about that in the second half, because I am going to touch on it. So thanks a lot for ruining it.
It's a teaser. It's a teaser, man.
So let's talk about the ACL. You didn't see that because of the background. There we go. JT Toppin tears his ACL in the loss to Arizona State, putting Texas Tech's season in jeopardy. He was their big guy, their go-to guy to really bring that team together. Is Texas Tech in trouble now? You lose a player of that caliber for the season in a loss. How do you recover from that?
I think they're in deep trouble. When he was with New Mexico, man, he beat the crap out of the Broncos, man, and he's a great player. And I know for me, that's going to be a tightly contested conference right now. And right now they're, one spot above BYU, and they still got 6 games left, and it'll be up to them how they can react to this and next man up. But I don't know. That's a big hit, man.
Yeah.
He was the top scorer in 12 of their games, their leading scorer overall, and their next closest forward who scores that many points, or the next closest forward on the scoring average is almost half as many. So yeah, that production isn't going to come off the bench and be anywhere near what it is with Toppin. So I'm with Nick. That's a big loss,
especially this late in the season with only a couple weeks left to go, to try and get somebody the next man up to be ready to play at that high caliber. Yeah, it's going to be interesting for the Red Raiders, see what happens there. There is a lonely little number 1 out there. The Miami, Ohio Redhawks, only undefeated team. Their toughest of their schedules behind them. If they lose in the MAC tournament, let's say the MAC tournament championship game, just to make it really interesting, does the MAC get a bid thief and send 2 people in a conference that historically only sends 1?
Yes.
Oh, quick answer.
Yeah.
Expand.
I think by that point in time, other schools around them in that top 25 range, towards the bottom, of course, will have other losses as well.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to make the argument that even with a loss in a conference championship game, again, this is an early loss in the MAC that you said, conference championship game, that, they've escaped a lot of games. They've played a lot of close games. I just don't think you're going to get harmed, because now we start thinking about that football mentality. Do we punish someone for making it to a championship game and having to play it and win it, when other teams are kind of essentially already in other aspects, and it doesn't matter. So
Right.
I think that in that specific case, yes, Miami would get in as well as whoever ends up taking the MAC.
What if they lose opening round? They'll probably. I don't know what. I have to look see what the MAC
What the setup is.
tournament is, but if they lose their first game in the tournament,
It would be tougher. It would probably depend on how ugly it is. If it's like a buzzer beating shot,
yeah, you think about it. You go undefeated the entire year to lose one game in your tournament and then get left out of the dance. That's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they'd get left out, I guess. But I don't know. I guess
know.
here's the other side. We talked about the football side of it, so let's keep it with the football side. Unfortunately, we just saw James Madison and Tulane not be all that close, right? And a lot of people just wanted to crap on the fact that they got in. Now, I don't think that mentality quite exists in basketball because you just get so many more teams. So hopefully that's the saving grace for them in that regard.
Yeah.
I mean, just put this in perspective right now. I'm looking at their last 5 games where they probably wouldn't be even aired on any of these, sports networks, but 2 of them are on CBS Sports Network. The other ones are on ESPN Plus, but I wouldn't, as they're continuing, I think they have the option of bumping them up from that.
Yeah.
And they just don't do that for MAC teams, man. I mean, they don't. So, I mean, that's the kind of shine that they have in this landscape. Man, I'm rooting for them. I hope they go undefeated. And I think they, I hope they go all the way through the tournament, win it, and all that. But I do think even if they lose the opener, I think it's hard to win 3 games in a row in the tournament. It's hard to win any tournament, right? So yeah. I think the people that are making the decisions, they understand that kind of stuff. But if they would probably be a bid thief from another conference, probably like a Mountain West.
Probably. Yeah. Or the Big East. Isn't that the conference you took?
Not the Big East. They won't be doing that.
I will say that I personally, and I think you guys would agree too, because we're all that smaller school-minded kind of guys, but I would much rather see a team like this, even with a loss, even with probably 2 losses, if in my mind. I'd rather see a team like this than a team from the ACC that's been questionable all season, but has that one win in the tournament that everyone's like, well, that might propel them. Like, well, no, if they haven't proven that they're a good team overall all season long, why don't we get the team that's been a good team all throughout, right? And they have a very, very deep roster, right? I think, was it last time I looked, 6 guys in double figures? How many other rosters in the country say they have 6 guys in double figures? So not many.
And there's going to be the people that say, the strength of schedule argument. Well, what if that's the case? Why isn't there any other rosters playing the same strength of schedule that has that many guys in double figures? You can't say that and then not have the stats to back it up. As if that was the case, if strength of schedule really gave you that much of an advantage to stat pad like that, why aren't the other schools doing it?
Exactly.
And I look at it this way too, is back in, and Johnny, he's going to miss this. He would like this. Back in the days when Calipari was with Memphis, he always put a team out there, even though, he always put a team out there was like 31-2. And I always would much rather watch a Memphis team get in at that, with that caliber of, record and what they do during the regular season than, the middle of the pack, Big East or anybody. I would put a team up like that. And I kind of rank Miami of Ohio in that kind of a category this year.
Yeah. And they have a good team. And I think they're going to surprise at least 1 or 2 games in the dance. They may make it to the Sweet 16. Will they get past that? I don't know. I think they got a good chance of getting out of the first round.
Who's got the MAC anyway? Out of all those,
I think it's Yates.
oh, then he needs to stop. He needs to quit complaining then that he was last.
Casey has the MAC. Casey has the MAC.
It is Casey.
Oh, okay. Well, then he can keep complaining then. I like a good dumpster fire.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here, come back in and get some more small school stuff. We're going to get into our draft picks and let you guys know what's going on there. Since we don't have Casey or Johnny Yates back yet, if Yates pops in, we'll load him in just as fast as we can get him in and get him caught up, let him talk about his conferences. But if not, it'll just be the three of us. So y'all stick around. Give us your hot takes. Who do you think's going to win whatever conference your team's in? And let us know in the comments, and let's have a show out of it. All right. Welcome back to Bourbon, Beer, Basketball. I just had a I just had a office flashback. Beats, Bears, Battlestar Galactica.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Love it.
Really, we need another beer. Dom, what you got?
All right, so I finished the Beer Keeper Gizmo, and we're going to move over to a Raleigh brewing company known as Lone Rider, and this is Sweet Josie Brown Ale. So it's pretty sweet can. This is a little bit taller than the previous one, so finishing strong here. But
chug, chug.
yeah.
I'll chug one if you do.
Oh, almost on the keyboard.
Big
Almost
gulps,
on.
guys.
All right, definitely a little darker, a little heavier, I guess, than the first beer. Good flavor, though. I like this one. I think I've had this one before, if I'm not mistaken. So, Lone Rider Brewing Company has a number of cool cans, and flavors. Maybe we'll break out another Lone Rider one in the episodes to come. But also a very cool logo for their brewery. See if we can get a good shot of that. I don't know if it'll come into focus in the camera or not, but you got, like the old cowboy looking dude on there. So very nice. Yellow and black. It might be the colors.
What was that other the Black and Gold podcast?
Yeah.
Whenever we were looking at you for our football and chill segment on Bronco Nation Live, that was one of the other that just from a glance, that's what that logo almost looks like. Is their black and gold little cowboy pilgrim hat looking thing?
Yeah, it does work kind of like that for that. Yep.
Nice. Maybe they need to get with them for a endorsement deal.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is there's another brewery called R&D Brewing. I forget what it stands for. Maybe I don't think it's Raleigh and Durham because no one says Raleigh and Durham. But anyway, R&D Brewing, who brews the beer that App State sells as their house beer, within the stadium. That's down here in Raleigh, which is 3 hours from the school. So, for them to partner with a Raleigh brewing company wouldn't really be, too far-fetched.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to open up another one, but it's going to be another Art Car IPA. I don't have a fancy second beer. Not today. I got off work. I came back here and I took a shower and said, crap. I don't have enough time to go anywhere.
Did you have a shower beer?
No. It's where I draw the line. I do shots in the shower. Shower shots.
There you go. Shots only in the shower. Hey, I heard this great description of a beer the other day.
Yeah.
It was at a baseball game, and one of the women actually who cover Arkansas State, she does a great job. Shout out to her. She called her beer at the baseball game baseball water. And I was like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to call my beer baseball water now.
Nice. Well, grab your baseball water and why don't you tell us about pull my notes up here. Dang it. There you go. Tell us about your Atlantic 10. You were not here last week, so we're going to start with you, Dom.
No problem.
Your number one pick was the Atlantic 10. So what's good in the Atlantic 10?
Yeah, you've got some teams with some history in the Atlantic 10, right? Davidson is located there. They're down this year, so they're not going to be a player, but a name that people will be familiar with. Richmond has stood out a few times. St. Bonaventure, Loyola Chicago, as we know, went on that famous run. Those schools all down this year, but at the top, you've got St. Louis, Bilkins, and they're on 12-1 within the conference, 16-0 at home. And just 7-1 away. So they're great, 24-2 overall, but they're battling with the VCU Rams, who are on a 10-game win streak. And we know the history of VCU as well. Again, this conference is one that has a rich history when it comes to teams making runs in NCAA tournaments, because just below them, probably out of the picture this year, but with a good overall record, is George Mason Patriots. But I think this one's going to be between St. Louis and VCU, and it's going to be a race right down to the very end. They do play each other 2:20 Friday night. They face off on ESPN2. It is a nationally televised game. That one is one you won't want to miss.
Nice. Who's going to win it?
Woo. Let me remind myself who's playing at home. Okay. So both teams are great at home. Both teams are also very good on the road. But I think VCU's 10-game win streak comes to an end at the home in the hands of St. Louis.
Ooh. St. Louis, they just had a heartbreaker too, didn't they?
Yep. 1-game losing streak. You don't lose many in a row when you only have 2 losses all season. So,
right.
Yeah, this is a team that is probably ready to get back. Rhode Island was the loss, 81-76. It was on the road. And again, they're getting VCU at home. So probably going to be a rowdy crowd for that one.
Yeah. Nick, the Mac's gonna bid thief a Big East Big East spot. So
Who's it going to be, Nick?
Well, here we go, guys. I'll run down the Big East. Like I said, the casual fan, I'm a casual fan. I run a lot on recency bias, but I'm going to give you a good glimpse of what the Big East looks like today, this week. And I'm going to be their salesman, all right? Because nobody's stealing a bid from my Big East because I want those bonus points in our friendly wagered game. So, fellas, grab your glass of bourbon, crack that beer, and settle in because the Big East is giving us the perfect cocktail of elite basketball and pure chaos. I love it. From high-stakes standing battles to literal fights breaking out on the court, this league continues to be the most dramatic show in college hoops. Last week we had Pitino and Hurley going at it. Well, this week the Big East is tight as ever at the top. Standings this week will tell us the story of the conference where every possession matters. UConn still sits atop the league at a 14-1 in conference, 24-2 overall after losing one to St. John's, rolling with the NET ranking of 10 and a 9-1 record in his last 10. Again, that one loss to Rick Pitino. St. John's is right behind him at 13-1, 20-5 overall, riding an 11-game win streak, looking every bit like UConn's biggest threat as they're going down the stretch, just like they would in Churchill Downs. Villanova, steady and efficient, sits at 11-3, 20-5 overall with a 5-game win streak of its own. These three are probably your near lock for the NCAA tournament, controlling the league and boasting resumes built on quality, wins, and consistency. Seton Hall sits right behind him, climbing steady in its resume at 18-8 with a net of 51. So you count them, guys. That could be 4. Meanwhile, the chaotic middle, Creighton, Xavier, Georgetown, and DePaul fight to stay on the bubble with the net rankings ranging from the 80s to the 100s. So top performers from the Big East were N.J. Benson of DePaul, 23 points against Creighton. Adam Clark, Seton Hall, he's averaging 12.5 points per game. C.J. Gunn of DePaul, 13. So a lot of DePaul, a lot of Seton Hall. So, there's still a very tough league. Like I've been saying, they're beating up on each other. And then the brawl heard round the Big East. As if the conference race wasn't heated enough, the St. John's Providence game on Valentine's Day, lots of love, peace, exploded in a scene straight out of an old school rivalry reel. It all began when Providence's Duncan Powell delivered a fragrant 2 on former Friar turned St. John star Bryce Hopkins, sparking a full bench clearing fight. Players rushed the floor, punches flew, security had to break it up. The game was halted for 19 minutes as they had to sort through all the chaos and that dumpster fire right there for everyone in the Big East to watch. It resulted in about 6 players being ejected. And then the Big East did follow up on their own kind of discipline. They suspended Powell for multiple games, including an automatic NCAA suspension plus additional games for conference for combative actions, basically letting the fist fly. So St. John's is I guess not. But our guy, what they needed was they needed a good dose of Chris Childs over there. He would have,
There you go.
he would have taken care of some business. But resulting from that, St. John's is still on a roll, 11 straight wins. So UConn's looking over their shoulder, and this is going to be some good basketball right in the last 6 games of this stretch of the season for my Big East.
Got a little update for you. Now, the downside of this show or prepping for any show is that we have to do it beforehand. But Creighton just beat UConn tonight.
Ooh.
So St. John's is now number 1 because, as you just talked about, Nick, see, this is where the prep pays off too. Nick just talked about Creighton being one of those bubble teams that could jump up.
Yeah.
Look at where they're going to go. I mean, that's from bubble to not so much bubble anymore, right? You beat a team like UConn like that. So, point proven there, Nick.
Good stuff. Well, my number 1 pick was the West Coast Conference. The Zags, they're back on top after routing Washington State by 30 and then putting Santa Clara back in their place. Santa Clara thought that they were going to jump up and make some noise in the conference regular season. They put them back in their place 94-86, clinching their 19th straight 25-win season. Mark Few over there has a few good seasons under his belt. So, but the Zags' Graham Ike has scored 20-plus points in 7 consecutive games, including 21 points and 15 rebounds up against Santa Clara. And he received the West Coast Conference Player of the Week and the USBWA National Player of the Week, sweeping those honors. Santa Clara is still in the hunt, though. They're only about 2 weeks behind, and they're only 2 games behind. 2 weeks left in the regular season, only 2 games behind. It's a narrower path, but the path is still there. St. Mary's, they're 1 game out, which is going to set up next Saturday's probably the West Coast Conference game of the year next Saturday between Gonzaga and St. Mary's at St. Mary's. But for this week, probably the biggest game of the week is Gonzaga at San Francisco. San Francisco's kind of a streaky team. They could lay a hurt if they wanted to. But that game's on at 10 p.m. Central Time, 8 o'clock Pacific on ESPN2 for all those late watchers that want to see some basketball late in the evening. But Gonzaga is a 15.5-point favorite with a 90.4% chance to win. And the only reason I made that a key game this week is because of what the Pilots did to Gonzaga a couple weeks ago. So Portland was able to knock them off. This is in San Francisco, so we'll see what happens there.
Nice.
All right, Dom, what do you say about your second pick, the number 9 overall, the Coastal Athletic Conference or Association?
As I so wrongly called by their old name to start with. We won't make that mistake again. But yes, as we talked about, and as most people know, especially in this part of the country, before this season even tipped off, it was UNCW and it was Charleston, College of Charleston. Sorry, I was going to say Charleston Cougars. But it's going to be those 2 teams at the end, another tight race. Although UNCW has the win over CFC thus far, they do play one more time. The bad news for Charleston is they're going to need help from other teams in the conference because they have a 2-game. Well, they're really just 1.5 games back. So not only would they have to beat UNCW to jump over them, but UNCW would have to trip up. They do play the number 3 team currently in conference in Monmouth. And they are on a 3-game win streak, so that's not just a walk in the park, going to win that one easily. However, all the remaining opponents for Wilmington come towards the bottom half of the conference with Campbell, Elon, NCA&T, all part of the ending schedule for the Seahawks of UNCW. So I said I expect them to take it. Charleston to still try and put on a run here towards the end. I think everybody else is kind of middle of the pack, all jammed in there. It's really those top 2 teams that are the only 2 that you really need to be talking about as far as the CAA is concerned. Hofstra had a chance, I think, early in the season looking decent, but they can't win on the road. They're just 8-8 on the road, even though they're 7-2 at home. So, yeah, I think it's that coastal battle over there with UNCW and Charleston.
Can you imagine if Coastal Carolina was in there too? It'd really be a coastal battle.
yeah. That now in baseball, the UNCW coastal thing is a big one. And Charleston just beat Coastal Carolina in baseball yesterday. Took down the number 6 Coastal Carolina Chanticleers in baseball. So yeah, if they could get all those schools together for some kind of tournament, I think it'd be a good thing.
Yeah. All right, Nick. What kind of dumpster fire drama can you drum up in the Summit? Your 12th
I can't,
overall.
man. I can't top what's going on in the Big East. Yeah. Wish I could, but the Summit League is as straight-laced as it comes. They're just some blue-collar teams just, fighting it out. They got, again, from last week, I think the top 3, all have a shot. The experts are giving the Tommies probably the nod with the best chance to get in. But you still got North Dakota State. They're 11-1 in league, 21-6 overall. They are the clear leader right now. They had the inside track, but again, the Tommies have that recency bias. They have, the experience being in the tournament before. North Dakota State would be a great story, especially since they've just made the news. Their football team is making the jump, so this would be good for their overall for their school. And then you got St. Thomas. They're right behind them at 10-3 in conference, 21-7. And then again, North Dakota's right behind both of them at 9-4. And then you have the middle of the log jam tier, and unfortunately for them, it really does come down to 3 that are up on the top. The cream is on the top already with just a handful of games left. See some key games that over the last week you had Omaha. We'll give some shine to Omaha because they are sitting at 4th. They beat Denver 83-76. They had their star Lance Waddles went 6 for 6 from deep, 21 points with 5 trays. But basically, this is a 1-bid league. So like I've said the last couple of weeks, I was hoping and praying I'd get Big East because that would give me the best chance to get numerous bids, and nobody's taking anything away from Big East. Don't even think about it, Mac.
Yeah. The Mac's taking it, and when San Francisco wins the West Coast Conference, they're going to take another one. Oh, gotta love the friendly rivalry.
Love it.
My second pick, number 10 overall, was the Atlantic Sun. It's pretty much Austin Peay's to lose. They seem to be in pretty good control, and they're doing it behind Colin Parker. He averaged 30.5 points a game last week, including a 39-point performance against Queens, who's also a conference contender. And he earned newcomer and ASUN Player of the Week honors. So Austin Peay, if you can corral Colin Parker, then you got a good chance of beating him. Central Arkansas, they're not going away without a fight, though. Currently on a 10-game win streak. Ty Robertson and Luke Moore have the Bears within striking distance of the Governors, and they're setting up a pretty dang good matchup here in a few games. I think the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. Don't quote me. Austin Peay and Central Arkansas both have clinched first-round byes in the ASUN tournament, so they're Now they're fighting for who's going to get that number 1 overall seed. But Florida Gulf Coast, a name we've all grown to love as a Cinderella in the tournament, they're lurking in the shadows. They may cause some issues come tournament time. They're not going to win the championship, the regular season championship, but they're lurking. They're getting there. They're on a win streak of their own, a 4-game win streak at home at that, and it's going to be put to the test this week as Jacksonville comes to Florida Gulf Coast and puts their 4-game home win streak on the line. And this game is important for conference seeding. Central Arkansas at Stetson. This is going to be a trap game for Central Arkansas because that's on the 19th, and just 2 days later, they're going to be playing at Florida Gulf Coast, which if they lose that one, then they're pretty much a 2 seed at that point. I don't think they can overtake Austin Peay if they lose that one. And then Austin Peay goes to Jacksonville, and this is a trap game for them ahead of next week's huge matchup with Central Arkansas. That if both teams can get through this week undefeated, I say undefeated, but without taking a loss this week, then next week's game likely could be for first place of the Atlantic Sun. So a lot of good basketball in the Atlantic Sun, a lot on the line for a lot of different teams, from seeding to conference regular season titles. So there's a lot going on in the A-Sun this week.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So Dom, you were able to pick your homer conference. Your number 3 overall, or number 16 overall, the Sun Belt, and the resurgence of App State. Kinda.
Yep. kind of. Yeah. I was just scrolling through here because one thing I hadn't looked at, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to confirm it here in a second. Yep, I can confirm now. They have 5 teams all within 1 game or less of each other.
Wow.
So this is the closest race for conference supremacy at the back end of the schedule here. A lot of other conferences really don't have anywhere this near as many teams. I think there's 1 or 2 that might have 4, but this is the only conference out there that has 5 teams within 1 game or less of one another. Yeah, App State was on a 7-game win streak before dropping a game to James Madison. I believe just their 2nd game ever to James Madison since joining the conference of the Sun Belt. They dropped that one 69-58 on the road there. However, Troy, who's been the constant team and was the NCAA tournament bid in this conference last season, has lost 4 of their last 7, which is a big surprise here. Now, those games have come against the James Madison team, who is on a 3-game win streak, another loss to App State, Texas State, who we're going to talk about in a second. The most surprising one really is Southern Miss, and the reason that the Texas State one isn't very surprising, they are the hottest team in the conference overall on a 6-game win streak. So you guys in the pack next year are going to be getting a basketball team who may come in pretty hot. They are 15-1 at home in San Marcos. App State goes on the road to play them in the last game of the season. If everything holds pretty true here, we're going to have a matchup that could decide who's number 1 at the top of the standings in the very last game of the season. But there's going to be a Troy team who's going to try and get back up there to that 20-win mark that they've been hitting every single year for the last few years. We've got a Marshall team who, had a shot at the undefeated Miami of Ohio team. They didn't have their 7-footer healthy for that game. Could have made a difference. Maybe they started off really, really poorly for the first half of the first half. They played pretty well throughout the rest of the game. They won the second half versus Miami of Ohio, but having your big dominant center down there not be in the game at all. He didn't get hurt in that game. He just didn't touch the court at all for them. And we'll see how his health plays out as the rest of the season goes by. And then we talked about South Alabama and Arkansas State finish early in this show. South Alabama up there right now, tied for 2nd technically. With tiebreakers, they sit in 4th, though. Again, this is how close this conference is but a strong team at home, 8-2 overall. So this is a conference that is very, very close. And there's some teams out there, like you throw in Coastal Carolina, they're only a game and a half back. So within a game and a half, you've got 6 teams that could end up at the top of this conference. I think this one's going to be a really fun race for people to watch. And again, this tournament style is the Mortal Kombat style. Every single team in this conference makes the tournament, and everybody has a chance to go all the way through. But again, if you're at the back end of that conference tournament bracket, you're going to be playing like 7 straight games to get to the championship. So good luck to you.
That's the one where you have like your 7, 8 plays, and then they go on. Whoever wins plays the next highest. And
yep,
so weird.
Yeah, I also don't love the fact that everybody makes it. Like ULM is sitting at 1-13 within this conference. They're just 4-23 overall, but they're in your conference tournament, like guaranteed. Like, I mean, I guess here's the only thing I'll say: if you have a team, and I can't think of anybody specifically right now off the top of my head, but let's just say you have a team where a guy who got injured early is now eligible and healthy to come back, and your team is going on a run at the end of the season. If you had him fully healthy all year, you might have been up there towards the top. Now they've got a chance to run through some teams. You give them a shot. So I do like it for that aspect. I like it for the craziness, but you do also have to be a realist and say, if you're going to make all these teams play 3, 4, 5 games in a row, at some point your luck's going to run out. So the realistic nature is you still want to be one of the top teams and sit for a little while.
Right. Yeah. By the way, I take back everything I said about ULM being a dark horse in Sunbelt baseball.
They could be a dark horse in baseball, but not in basketball. They'd be the darkest of dark horses.
I solely made my assumption based off a single game, and they really haven't done well since.
True. They're struggling a little bit. However, they've played some decent opponents.
Yeah. I mean, their bats are hot too. So, I mean, they put up points, just not enough.
But, yeah, they do put up points. That is very true.
But this is a basketball show, so stop trying to talk your baseball knowledge.
Stay on the topic, man. Stay on the topic.
Yeah.
What are you doing? That's why I'm here. I'm here for the order of things. Unless it's a dumpster fire and then it's squirrel.
Speaking of dumpster fire, what kind of dumpster fires does the WAC
man? Yeah, I don't have really good news for you because it's kind of dimmed a little bit.
No.
It could have got hotter, if Utah Valley, would have kept on rolling. But now, there's a three-team drag race. Cal Baptist, Utah Tech are tied at 9-4, and then Utah Valley ended up slipping. They lost a game, so they're right behind them at 8-4. While UT Arlington is sits at 6-7 with some work to do, and then you got your other 6-7.
Clip it for the kids.
Then you have your lower teams like Southern Utah and Abilene Christian and Tarleton down a ways. For the people who are following the WAC, there will be a neutral site for the WAC tournament. It's returning to the Orleans Arena on March 11th through the 14th. Top 2 seeds earn buys under their current format. Let's see. Again, likely it's just a 1 bid seed, and seeding matters in that tournament. Cal Baptist profile 19-7, 9-4 carries steadiness, but Utah Valley still grades the best in efficiency with the 18.9 net rating of 81.5 points per game within conference, and could be the dangerous 2-3 seed nobody wants. Could be Utah Tech, who's streaking with 6 wins. But kind of put a damper on my my trailer park party with them losing one, because if they would, it just, the drama would have kept building if they just would have started to run away with this thing, but they could still, if and hopefully they do, but it's right there. It's there's only a half game between them, Utah Tech, and Cali Baptist. So we will see what happens in the week to come and see if the drama builds back up, because I'm all for that. I want to see some a pissing contest between Utah Valley and the WAC commissioners. I got to see it. Got to see it, man.
All right. My number 3 pick, 15 overall, the Horizon League. We talked a little bit about them earlier in the show, and the suspension is killing me. Green Bay head coach Doug Gottlieb was suspended by the league for 1 game after his profanity-laced criticism of the officiating in their 75-72 loss to Milwaukee. Suspension of 1 game doesn't seem like that big of a deal until you realize that Robert Morris, Oakland, and Green Bay all sit atop of the league in a 3-way tie with Wright State and Purdue-Fort Wayne right on their heels, and you have Oakland as your 1-game suspension game. So a huge game for Green Bay this weekend on the 20th at 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Oakland's now projected to win 79.7% of the time, according to ESPN. And you got to wonder if Gottlieb was still in, if that wouldn't be the case there. So it's going to be a matter of heart in the players. Are they going to get up? They're going to play for the coach that was defending them against poor officiating, or are they going to lay down without any real leadership on the bench? We're about to see what kind of assistance Green Bay has. So it's just really unfortunate. I don't think, and the chancellor at Green Bay didn't think that the punishment fit the crime. A public chastising would have sufficed, I think, in this instance. And I think had it just been profanity laced, that's probably all he would have got. But with the slamming of the table, I guess it showed a violent nature. I don't know. The I Prevail song, Violent Nature, is playing through my head right now, and I can't say it without getting fined. So anyway, it's really unfortunate that they decide to hand that 1-game suspension for a game as big as this in the horizon coming up with Oakland. Another huge game, you got Robert Morris at Wright State on the 22nd at 2 o'clock Eastern time on ESPNU. Wright State's actually projected to win this one 73.9% of the time, even though Robert Morris has the lead in the conference. So really tight, coming down to the end for the Horizon for a regular season title. And a lot of basketball still to play for seeding. Nothing set in stone yet.
Gotta love the ref show, man.
Yeah. All right, Dominic. Now we get into the bottom half of your picks. Number 21 overall, you took the SoCon. What's going on in the SoCon?
The Southern Conference, one of the historically best conferences ever created. That's because most of the SEC and ACC actually came from the Southern Conference long ago. So this was the monster conference long time ago. Have the mighty have fallen, though? How the mighty have fallen, though, because now you've got teams like UNC Greensboro and VMI and Chattanooga Mocs, although Chattanooga is usually one of the better teams. They are at the bottom of this conference towards this end of the season. VMI is actually the last place team, which is, I think, what was it? A couple of years ago, VMI was like the highest scoring college basketball team, but they just didn't play any defense. They beat people like 130 to 116 or something like that. But they still didn't have a great record somehow. They just scored a lot of points. But you've got not quite as many as the Sun Belt, but you've got a battle towards the top between East Tennessee State, Wofford, and Mercer. Not far behind, you have a couple teams that I think are probably going to be on their way out just because of how the schedule sets up for some of the top teams. East Tennessee State has already beaten Wofford. They get another shot at them, and they have to play Mercer on the road. So they are number one here, but they're just a game and a half above Wofford, 2 games above Mercer. But they don't have that easy road, as we just talked about. With Wofford, they've got a couple teams here in Furman and the Citadel that they probably should beat, but Wofford and Furman, they're like a baseball throw between the two campuses. So that's a big-time rivalry. That's not one that's going to be easily taken. The Citadel game should be a win, but then they go on the road to play ETSU. That's going to be Murderer's Row. On Mercer's side, they get to play Chattanooga, who we talked about being at the bottom of this conference. They play at Western Carolina towards the bottom of this conference. They can get a shot at ETSU, again, a team that they have no, they did lose to them earlier by 6 points, but again, very winnable game. The problem for them that stands in their way is Samford, a team who is currently the hottest in this league, winning 5 straight games. And Samford themselves, within those 5 games, I'm thinking, man, I got to remind myself, were those good wins? Yes. In those 5 wins, they beat Mercer, Wofford, and ETSU in the last 3 games in a row. So I don't think Samford has any shot to win the regular season title, but this is a Samford team that you should watch out for come conference tournament time. I think your dark horse to win the conference regular season may be Mercer, but again, the odds-on favorite as far as Vegas is concerned, I would say is ETSU.
Good stuff. All right, Nick. The NEC screams dumpster fire.
NEAC.
I mean, it even sounds like national, everyone's a dumpster fire conference.
No, they are right.
That was the best description. Just don't say anything more. That's perfect, dude. Just end it right there.
Moving on.
Yeah, they are right.
No, well, you got I don't know, half the league's and half the league is but
we should note that Nick is the only sober one on the show right now, and he's acting the most blitzed.
And see, but you got but the people watching, especially from where I live, they should be thanking me that Boise is not on fire. Okay. Because that's the kind of stuff that happens when Nick at Night comes out. So here, you get this. All right.
All right.
Okay. So let's put a little bit of professional here on the, what is it? The Northeastern Conference? Is that what we're calling it? Northeast? Yeah. All right. So you got LIU has pole position at 12-2. Conference record 18-9 overall. And then with Central Connecticut and Lemoyne chasing at 9-5, Mercyhurst right behind at 8-6. The official NEC board lists LIU with a streak of 1 and a 4-game cushion over a 500 league. So that's kind of tells you what I got here. Okay.
It's a good thing you got the
we'll throw out some updates because I'm all about updates. I've been doing updates throughout the show. So last week we saw Wagner 68 over Stonehill 57, Lemoyne 81 over Chicago State 81-63, Mercyhurst 94 over St. Francis 94-79, New Haven over the Top Gun LIU 52 or 55-52. So it was a close one. You don't want to mess with people in New Haven. By the way, they got great pizza, but they're tough as hell. I believe that's that kind of areas where Aaron Hernandez came from. So you just don't mess with those guys. Okay, so we can forgive LIU for losing that one. Okay, and then you had Central Connecticut 63, FDU 57. The NEC tournament site is live. It'll be with the bracket logistics and the schedule. I'll bring the schedule later as soon as they get that going. Again, this is a one bid league. LIU controls the regular season, but don't forget about Central Connecticut and Lemoyne. So one bid. Their top performers of last week is Benil Basil Wagner with 16 points in the Stonehill win. And that's what you have in the good old NEC.
Nice.
Other NEC news for all you football fans out there, I believe Chicago State, their inaugural football season is 2026. So
I think you're right.
Be fun to see what they do in the FCS. I think they have 6 FCS teams scheduled and 4 sub FCS teams scheduled for their inaugural season, if I remember right.
Do they have any division? Do they have any FBS teams?
Nope.
Ooh, man,
I
I'd
need
go
to
get
get that
one of
payday,
those.
man.
Yeah, give me one of those paydays, man. We got a new program over here. I'll take a couple beatings for a couple $1 million.
They probably couldn't get it joining this late in the season.
True.
Late in the game. They might get it next year.
There's that one school on the West Coast. I think they're Oakland, something like that. They're from Oakland, but they literally have their classes are in a gym, and they go and they just get their asses handed to them, and they get a paycheck. I think Idaho State. Idaho State beat them like 80-7.
Oh my goodness!
They got their money's worth, man.
Yeah.
So that's what Chicago State needs to do, man.
Yeah.
Well, the true MAC. It's so much better than the MAC that they needed an extra A. My number 22 overall pick, the Mid-Atlantic Conference or Mid-American Athletic Conference, MAC was. I don't know why that's so funny to me.
It's funny every time. I don't know why.
Merrimack holding a 2-game lead behind breakout performances by freshman Kavere Kennedy, who became the first MAC player to bring home MAC Player and Rookie of the Week award in the same week. I need to make better notes because I can't do that with a straight face. Merrimack relying heavily on zone defense to hold offenses to season lows in scoring, and it is working. They've won 7 of their last 8, and I mean, you don't see a lot of zone being played effectively, and Merrimack is effectively doing it. Got to wonder if they make it to the tournament against tougher competition, if it's going to work as well there too, since it's not seen commonly at the higher levels of play. Antonio Chandler scored a career-high 19 points in Siena's sweep of the I-87 rivalry over Marist. They won 67-63, and again, a career high for Antonio Chandler. Abdu Qadri Kibi recorded his second straight double-double in a win over Ryder as Mount St. Mary's, they're making a late push. They did the same thing last year and made it into the tournament. And see what they do this time. I think. Did they make it a tournament? I'll have to go back and check that. If they didn't make it to the tournament, they came close. For some reason, that stuck out. Fact check me, someone, and then share this so people can call me dumb and come and laugh at us because bad press is good press, right? Anyway. And of note, Canisius was eliminated from the MAC tournament with a 69-65 loss to Manhattan. So they are completely out of it. MAC is almost as dumb as Nick saying dork. Which Boise State plays the Dorks, tonight? Tomorrow?
They do. Lots of them, man.
Yeah.
Great for them. Great for Boise State, man.
Yeah. So key games this week in the MAC is Merrimack at Siena. Really, Siena's got to win this one if they're going to close that 2-game lead on Merrimack and try and win the regular season title. That's on the 20th at 7 Eastern on ESPNU. And the other one, St. Peter's at Iona on the 19th, has major seeding implications for those mid-tier packs. Not a whole lot of other really good games going on in the MAC this year. Or this week, I should say. But it's pretty much Merrimack's to lose. But there are a few teams out there that can try and do something like Mount St. Mary's and Siena.
I fact checked you. Mount St. Mary's did make the tournament last year with a 93-49 loss to Duke in the first round. Welcome to the tournament. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Hope it was fun.
And they did it with a late season push, because I remember I was on work. We have our tech weeks once a year. We go in and do our MSHA and OSHA certifications and whatnot. And I sat next to a guy who said, "Don't sleep on Mount St. Mary's." I'm like, "Yeah, I've never heard of them. I'm sleeping on them." And I started following them, like, holy crap. They went from nothing to something just like that. I'm like, well, all right, then. I'll never sleep on Mount St. Mary's again.
Yeah. Well, they also ran into a Duke team that had Cooper Flag and Con Knipwell on it. Right. So these guys are making noise in the NBA. Yeah, that was always going to be a tough ask. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Well, Dominic, you are the only person on the show tonight that had a supplemental pick, because you were you were so low. You got the AEC.
I really wanted the American East. I mean, supplemental is disrespectful. I really wanted.
I could tell you knew that they would be there for the last pick. Or second to last pick.
Yeah. This one, I'd say from UMass down. UMass, UAlbany, New Hampshire, Bryant, Maine, Binghamton, they're out. You can ignore them. I don't think anybody there is going to go on any runs, even in a conference tournament. But you've got a lot of people at the top who are top heavy. And again, this is going to be a one-bid league, so there's no chance that two come out of here. But New Jersey Institute of Technology, the Highlanders, are currently in first place at 10-2, but they're just a half game above UMBC, who we know has made some noise in NCAA tournaments here in the past. But the one that always seems to take this conference in the long haul is Vermont. They are only one game out of first place. So those three teams all kind of play each other towards the end of the season here. And, get convoluted if I try and go through who's hosting who and everything. But just know that this conference will come down to the wire, just like the Sun Belt. Again, not as many teams, but these top three teams are really going to be battling it out. And it's interesting because I figured one of these top three teams will be playing like the bottom half of this conference and they'll have the best chance to win. No, they're all in a round robin kind of against each other at the end part of the year. So as a one-bid league coming down to the wire, this one's kind of one to keep an eye on. I'm not quite sure if any of these teams are strong enough to kind of make some noise in an NCAA tournament this year anyway, because, UMBC's got the best overall record at 16-8, but everybody else 15-12, 17-10, they're not totally blowing you away. But as far as just watching this one for close, good games, this is a conference to keep an eye out. If I had to put something on it, man, I think recency bias would have me go UMBC, but I don't think you'd be taking too bad money if you took a chance on the Catamounts of Vermont getting back to the big dance again.
Yeah. We have a comment here. Sorry I missed it earlier. Scrimpy, 2146. Wisconsin's Nick Boyd earned Big Ten Player of the Week. That he did. He had averaged 27 points per game, 4.5 assists, and 2 top 10 wins. Recorded 25 points against Illinois and 29 against Michigan State, extending his 20-point streak to 7 games. So
Very nice.
Yep.
Is he a guard? 27 points?
Probably. Yes, senior guard.
Nice.
Other weekly honors, men's basketball freshman Keaton Wagler from Illinois, 6th time this season. Women's basketball, just Big Ten, Olivia Olson, Michigan, 21 points, 8 rebounds versus Northwestern, 23 points, 8 rebounds versus Michigan State. For baseball, Jackson Freeman for Northwestern hit .667, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs versus Rice. Softball, Lauren Putz, Michigan Player of the Week. Men's tennis, Jack Anthrop, Ohio State 4-0 in singles at the ITA Nationals indoors. And women's tennis, Lucina Perry, Ohio State 2-0 in singles, 1-0 in doubles. So
Nice.
That's what happens when you comment. We go on rabbit holes. So comment more. And again, Scrinky, sorry for taking so long to get to your comment. All right. Well, Nick, why don't you shout out that awesome brew that you're drinking over there one last time?
Yeah, I just I just enjoy since I'm drinking brew, but I'm drinking the go-go juice, and I get that at my local Albertsons. But I've had a lot of fun this show. But I do want to shout out something like really serious, something that's always on my mind, always in my heart, and I just want to shout out men's mental health. I know as a man, we are doers, we're fixers, we're that, but we're more than that, and and especially for the single guys out there that want to be in their kids' lives, shout out to you. Firsthand, I know how hard it is to be able to see your kids. Men love their kids just as much as the women do. And it's not a knock on anybody, but it's just something that's kind of overlooked. So shout out to all the men out there who are in a battle that nobody knows about.
Nice. Agreed.
I'm not crying. You're crying. Dominic, what's your let's do a Nick term here. What's your go-go juice of choice tonight? What are you shouting out?
Yeah, well, we had the Gizmo Beer Keeper. All right, so that one went down easy. This one's a little heavier, but we got the Sweet Josie here from Lone Rider Brewing Company in Raleigh, North Carolina. So some local brews there. So yeah, I'll just I don't have anything as good as Nick to shout out, but I came repping tonight, like these guys, they're technically at the top of the conference again right now. I mean, technically tied with Troy after tonight. But they have the tiebreaker because they beat them head to head. So, nice. maybe our guys will have a shot at a good seed in the tournament and get themselves back in the big dance. So the first time since the COVID year that nobody remembers they even made it, because it was like 7 people allowed to be in the gym to watch the game.
Right. We'll shift gears a little bit to baseball. I know you're big on baseball. The Sun Belt is a big baseball conference. 2 or 3 ranked teams right now.
Two teams, Coastal Carolina and Southern Miss, ranked within the top 25. Southern Miss will definitely stay there and probably move up. I think Coastal will stay there. They were number 6 when they lost. They lost by 1 run to College of Charleston, so I believe they'll stay within the top 25. I don't think we have any teams that are going to be jumping in to the top 25, but that's not to say that it won't happen later on in the season. So we'll see, but definitely college baseball in the Sun Belt is the number 1 sport. We had James Madison make the playoffs in football. I understand. Big year, big thing for them. But as far as top to bottom is concerned, baseball is this conference's best sport.
And you're done with all your baseball previews, right?
Yes, we had, I believe, 10 of 14 teams work out for us. We had 2 teams couldn't quite get on the same schedule to make it work, and we had 2 teams we didn't hear from. So surprisingly, it was the 2 teams that like don't get any coverage at all that didn't respond.
Wonder why.
Yeah. You have to wonder something there, right?
Where can the people go to find those interviews if they're interested in baseball?
Yeah, absolutely. So we pretty much upload anywhere and everywhere anymore these days. But the best places, as always, is YouTube and anywhere you listen to audio podcasts. If you search Sun Belt Syndicate, you can. I mean, some really good interviews with some coaches and some players from the teams. It wasn't just us talking about these guys. We got them on there and let them talk. So we tried to ask some fun questions and some entertaining stuff, but also find out about what they were thinking about going into the season and what they expected to come out of it.
Good deal.
Yeah, I've been catching a couple of those episodes, and they're really good. So I recommend people like me who like baseball. Yeah, and I don't have a local team here. I have a softball team, but I am getting that fix from you, my friend.
Well, we hope to continue the baseball thing. Like I said, there is a ton of traction on the baseball side of things across social media and everything for these teams that doesn't exist on the basketball side. We've been trying to get the basketball pumped up and excited a little more, but baseball comes really easy for the people in the deep South. So it's definitely their sport.
All it takes is a couple tournament wins and that traction changes.
It's very true.
Little basketball news. Looks like Boise State's finally starting to put something together against Air Force in women's basketball. Finally has the lead 65-58. Nick, what quarter are they in? All I see is a score. I know you got your score.
There's 47 seconds left in the fourth quarter. They were trailing 30. They were trailing 26-30 at the half. Air Force is on a 4-game win streak. So really glad to see the score the way it is right now.
Yeah.
You've had some women basketball players on your guys' show, right?
Yep. We've had a handful of them. I think with just about every starter.
Wow.
Yeah. But before the season's done, we'll have all the starters and maybe an upcoming freshman or something.
Nice.
Yep. Speaking of that show, Nick, where is that show at?
Yeah, you can find a lot of Boise State content, and we're venturing to other things right on our YouTube channel at Bronco Nation Updates, or we also collect that on our website, and you can go to bronconationupdates.com and just go in there and have yourself a time, man.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. Well, I'm not drinking anything that you haven't seen. The Art Car IPA by St. Arnold, the patron saint of beer or brewing, I should say. The oldest brewery in Texas. It's pretty good. Very hoppy American IPA, 7.1. This is my 5th one. I'm just kidding. Second.
Hey, Nick, you know those dumpster fires you were talking about? I think Sam was going to have one at his house.
Yes. It's after the show is going to be the show, man.
Yeah, there you go.
If you want to see an after show, donate here. And we'll stream longer. But that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Tune in next week, same place, same time, Bourbon Beer and Basketball. If you're interested in Boise State sports, Nick and I are on Bronco Nation Live tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Central. And we're still trying to get confirmation. We may have Doc Haskell, national champion, head coach for Boise State Esports, going to come on and talk Hawaii Invitational and the new heroes in Overwatch. Maybe. We'll see. Follow Bronco Nation Updates on Facebook, on X, on TikTok, and everywhere for all updates on all of that. If you are interested, we will update as soon as we have a confirmation on that. If we don't get it this week, try and get it next week. But for Nick, Dominic, and the guys that weren't able to make it tonight, thanks for tuning in. Bourbon Beer and Basketball, same time, same place, next week. Come bring us your hot takes, and we'll throw the good ones on air. We'll throw them all on air unless they're inappropriate. So come next week and tell us what your favorite beer is, favorite bourbons are, and let's have a good show. Let's have some fun fan interaction. So again, for everyone here, thank you. Have a good night and stay safe.